I like that in the middle of watching this, you go, just pee on it.
Yeah, just pee on it. Yeah, because in my mind is, okay, you don't have water, you don't have anything to burn, you need it to be wet, just pee on it. Pee a little on your hand and just lick it. Then they will all be wet, they can't flutter, they can't open up, and they're all filled with pee.
Hi, I'm Caitlin.
And I'm Charlie.
And welcome to Outsmarting the Shadows, where we help you survive horror movies.
And did we do?
Okay, so today is the second installment of our Conjuring. I guess technically it's the third Conjuring.
Third, we did Conjuring 1.
Conjuring 1. We did The Nun yesterday, and today, The Nun 2.
The Nun 2.
Yeah, and The Nun 2 just came out.
Mm-hmm.
It's only been in theaters since, I think, September.
Yes, and it's been in streaming services, I believe, for a while now.
Yes.
For a couple of days.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is the 8th installment in the Conjuring series, but we chose to watch it out of order from how it was, I guess published is not the right word.
How the movies came out? Yeah.
Right. How the movies came out, and instead we're going with how the story goes, which it's The Conjuring. From what I've read, I could be wrong. Please correct me, viewers, if I'm wrong. For The Conjuring, and then The Nun 1, The Nun 2, and then The Conjuring 2.
Yes. So after The Nun 2, we're going to head over to the second Conjuring.
Yes.
Okay.
I'll double check my numbers, though, because it could be Annabelle.
Oh, okay. I guess we'll check.
But we'll check. So, this was a great movie.
It was pretty good. I still enjoyed the first one more.
Really?
This one. Yes. But because in this one, first of all, people might not have seen this movie. So, spoiler warning.
Spoiler warning ahead. If you haven't seen The Nun 2, go to your nearest streaming service or go to theaters, because it might still be in theaters, and check it out.
Mm-hmm. It's pretty good.
Yeah, okay. And 3, 2, 1, you went and you saw it.
Yes.
And you're
you
back.
saw it, and now you're back.
No, you're back. Okay, so you were saying you like the first one more?
I liked the first one a little bit better. This one, I feel like they had a little bit more of rules. There was a little bit more of rules.
And you didn't like that?
Yeah. I mean, I liked it, but I still, the randomness of the first one, I kind of liked it a little bit more.
Really?
Yeah.
I love that.
Because the first one had a little bit more of, jump scares, a little bit more of paranormal stuff. And this one was more story driven, which it's okay, to be story driven, but sometimes I felt like it dragged a little bit.
You're the best. Because, so when I did all my research on The Nun, it has like a 43, I think maybe 47% approval rating on Rotten Tomatoes. The Nun.
The first one? Oh, really?
Yes.
The second one is not well rated from what I've seen.
Oh, really? Well, I didn't know. I don't know what The Nun 2 is rated right now. But The Nun 1, the main criticism of The Nun 1 is exactly what you loved about it.
Mm-hmm.
The logic doesn't really make sense for the supernatural. It's a little bit all over the place. And there are too many jump scares. Like, they rely too much on jump scares.
But they're not cheap, because when they scare you, it's a demon. Or it's an undead, or it's a ghost. It's something.
And it is something that actually furthers the plot, those jump scares.
Yes.
Cheap jump scares is where you have a scare and there's no reason to scare the person in that moment with that thing. Like, we watched a movie, Amityville Horror 2005.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that one had
Ryan Reynolds one.
The Ryan Reynolds wet t-shirt concept test movie. So that movie had jump scares that were really cheap because, like, they would have the little girl hanging for no reason. Like, she wasn't hanging. That's not how she died. Like, they would have just stupid stuff. But The Nun 1 had jump scares that furthered everybody's character development, the story.
Mm-hmm.
So I can sort of see... I love that you love that.
Okay.
So The Nun 2, it was a slower burn.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody had a lot more character development.
Yeah. So in the beginning,
in the beginning.
Yes.
So you know a horror movie, if it doesn't open strong, it's probably not going to be a good horror movie. So the first scenes of this movie are, you jump right into France.
Yes.
And it follows this little boy who is, I don't know what they're called, an altar boy.
An altar boy, I guess the ones that carry that little smoke bell that goes
Yes.
round and round.
And he's working at a priest. And man, he's got an attitude. It's the best.
It just starts like the priest telling, "Hey, get the wine," and then the kid just mouths at him, "Why don't you get the wine yourself?"
Get the wine
I
yourself,
was like,
man.
Jesus, this kid, he needs a beating.
Right?
He needs a little slapping.
Needs a talking to.
Yeah, he does. And then the priest goes like, "What did you say? Excuse me?" I was like, "Oh, no, nothing.
Nothing. I didn't say
That's
anything.
okay. I'll just get the wine."
So he goes and he gets the wine, and he's been playing with this little leather ball through the streets at night, which is apparently something you did in Paris in 1962.
It's 56.
56, you're right.
1956.
1956, 4 years after the Nun won.
Mm-hmm.
And he loses this little ball into the darkness of a little room.
Yeah, and so he goes get the wine, they do the service, and then he loses the ball, and then
the ball comes back.
And then the kid, okay.
Survival
Let's
tip.
start survival tip. If you throw a ball into a pitch black, dark room, and it comes back,
don't kick it back.
Don't test it. Don't. Oh, you know what, little demon, or little whatever it is.
Let's play.
Let's play. Here's the ball. Why didn't you? But I gotta give it to this movie. You think, okay, the ball is gonna come back, but it doesn't.
It doesn't.
The giant wine glass that he has just breaks, cracks, and then it explodes.
Right. This movie did totally different kinds of scares where you know what's coming, and it tried to be more sophisticated with it, and then it suddenly explodes, like metaphorically and literally.
And then the kid started to do things right. He ran and he went
to the nearest adult.
And told him this is smart. This is a kid with street smarts,
right?
Because this kid didn't go like, "There's a demon." No, he said, "There is someone, right? Not something, not some ghost. No, it's a person. This kid is afraid of people.
Right? There's someone here.
And
I loved that so much because it made the adult take him seriously.
Yes. And like, what do you mean? And then the kid is on this adult,
like white on rice.
Yeah, like white on rice. It's like, I'm not leaving this guy. This is my protection.
Right? And he's just following this priest who's like, who's there? Even the priest is
this is the house of God.
This is the house of God.
And you're being watched.
Right.
Okay.
It was an interesting introduction. And then, of course, the demon appears.
Yeah, you see the nun.
First,
you see the holy water boiling, and then when the holy water which I really don't get, if it's boiled, it's not holy water? I mean, isn't holy water mist supposed to hurt the demon also?
Well, okay, so I think that it was demonstrating how powerful the demon was.
Oh, that the holy water or the misty water from the holy water wouldn't affect it.
Right, that it was such a powerful demon that holy water had no effect. Because typically, obviously, holy water can kill things.
Yes.
So in this case, it just boiled it and steamed it off. Man, holy water steam. I wonder what that does to your pores.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe.
Same thing that regular water does.
Probably.
Only better.
Only holier. Yes.
More holes.
So when they see the nun, the priest just floats up in the air and then burns alive.
Yeah.
And then this kid is just scarred for life.
Emotionally damaged.
Scarred for life, although not scarred enough where he can't play at night with his friends. So he still plays.
It's so true, because like a couple of scenes later, we'll talk about what happens in the middle. You see this kid just kicking the ball around with a bunch of other French children.
Yeah.
Just at night, like you do. Where he's like,
I
saw someone die, but it's all right.
It's okay.
It's okay.
So after this, then we go back to Irene.
No, but first we see Maurice, our old friend Maurice, and the silhouette leaving the church with the nun, the shadow of the nun.
Yes, but we guessed this, Maureen, because we just saw the first nun, but they don't zoom on his face.
It's just a silhouette.
You just see a silhouette.
But I knew it was him.
Yeah, you knew it was Maurice.
Yeah. So then we go to this beautiful nunnery, this abbey in the sunlight,
Countryside.
in the countryside with horses, and you can see that Sister Irene has gone back to her roots of what she was doing before, and only this time she's pushing a truck out of the mud, and she has the smart idea of putting boards underneath your truck. If you ever get your truck stuck in the mud, okay, this is just a regular survival thing. You should have some boards or something with you in your trunk at all times in case this happens and this is like you're in a muddy landscape. But you put boards underneath the whatever gear, if it's a rear driven car, then you put it under the rear drive to give it some traction to help it come out, right?
I guess.
No, you know this.
I mean, I've never been stuck in mud.
Yes, huh? Remember when we got our car stuck?
Yeah, and we left it.
That's not true.
Nothing happened.
We put boards in it.
No, we did not. Your car lived there for about 2 weeks, and then someone with a hitch came and pulled it out. That's what happened.
That's not true.
Okay.
Is that true?
Anyway,
you put boards underneath your car. So she's living her best nun life, and you can tell that she's friends with this other lady who is also a nun, and the other lady doesn't want to go to confession.
Yeah.
And we find Irene goes and talks to this young nun who's not a nun yet. She's like a novice.
Yeah.
And
she's a nun in training.
And she says, well, why didn't you want to go to confession? And she's like smoking a cigarette and like sketching.
Hey, listen, lady, I don't believe in none of this. I'm just here because, I don't know, my mama died.
Yeah. And you know what's really funny? I love that they had this weird stereotypical, like, she doesn't conform, so she smokes and draws.
Right.
And I was like,
okay.
You're very conservative.
Yeah, they should have put a little streak of purple hair on her hand. And, oh, yeah, she's a rebel, that one.
Well, 1956 to have purple hair, you must have been a rebel. But in this day and age, yeah, smoking and drawing. You don't draw unless
you don't draw.
Those are
in a nunnery? No.
So they're clearly friends. And then you fast forward to a scene of Irene going into the cellar where a bunch of nuns are peeling potatoes and talking about this weird horror story of what happened at St. Clair, which is the Abbey.
The first movie. They're basically
just recapping the first movie.
Yeah, recapping the first movie. But here's okay. In this movie universe, the Catholic Church is messed up because so after she tells the story of what happened, in the first movie, exposition for anybody who didn't see the first movie. Okay, a nun will tell you everything that happened.
Yeah.
And then somebody asks, oh, well, what happened to the priest? And she goes, the priest, he was turned into a bishop.
He became a bishop. He rose the ranks in the Catholic priesthood.
Right. And what about the nun? Oh, she went crazy. Nobody knows what happened to her. So
nobody even knows who she is.
First of all, if you saw our previous episode, you know that we specifically stated this guy, he did nothing. He saved no one. What? He helped nothing. He just read a couple of books. He didn't even use the information that he found in the books. Like the name of the demon, to do anything.
The only reason why he learned that stuff was for our benefit.
Yes. And after all this, he gets all the glory and all the praise. He gets to become a bishop. He raises the ranks. He's probably set. He has cooler hats.
Yeah. Oh, he has
better tailored suit.
Yeah. All day, every day. And her name is lost to history.
Of 4
years.
And then they change the scene, and she's sleeping in a room with like 10 other nuns. Can you imagine? He's a bishop, and she's just smelling old nun farts all night. That's not a thing. That's
no life.
Yeah, that's not a way of going up in the church after
everything she did.
Yeah,
she's the one who really got rid of the demon.
Yeah,
and they didn't give her anything.
Yeah, and she got pushed over. And this guy, he just became bishop.
Yeah. So at night, somebody comes and tells her. We think it's the Mother Superior. You have a visitor.
Yes. But I think so you don't see it, so it's all black.
Mhm.
And it was the dream. I'm thinking that one was the devil nun.
I think so too. I think so too. And she's drawn into yet another weird, lonely corridor, which don't go into corridors by yourself at
She likes
night.
lonely corridors.
She does.
And when she turns around, she sees Maurice. Maurice, he looks at her, right? And he tells her, please save me, please help me, something like that.
Yeah, he says, please save me. And he's all messed up, like he's been possessed. So she has this vision. The very next morning, there's a cardinal at the nunnery, asking for her help. And he says, we have all of this evidence that a bunch of religious people have committed suicide in a chain across France.
Yeah, and we can pinpoint that it's from someone that it started in
Teresania?
No, the what was the first movie?
It was in Romania.
In that it started in
Yeah,
Romania,
it
so it
started
was
in Romania.
moving its way south.
Yes. And so they asked for her help, and they want her to go.
Which, this is another thing that is extremely messed up of the church in this universe, is that they knew she was the reason why they could defeat the nun in the first place.
Oh, they also say that Father Burke is dead.
Yeah, he got, I don't know what, malaria or something like that.
How did he die? Cholera.
And he got a cholera, and that's it. He's dead. He's not helping you. And then they're like, you did one miracle. You did one miracle. The church needs another. Like, really? All this time you knew this is the lady that saved and defeated this demon, and you promoted this guy, and now after he's dead, you're coming back to her to deal with this demon again?
Right? Again.
And not ask is like, this is what you're gonna do.
Because you know what she says? No.
Yeah, I like that. She's like, no.
I'm not gonna do that again.
Gonna do that again? No.
I'm not gonna do nothing.
No, I can't. I was like, and then this mug asshole comes like, you can't or you won't. Yeah. I don't know.
And then he says the whole line that he just said, and then eventually he convinces her to go.
Yeah, and she goes.
She goes. And she takes with her, against her will, because Sister Deborah steals away, who's the rebellious lady, to join her. And she says the sweetest line, and she goes, but who's going to take care of you?
Yeah.
It's really sweet. It's very sweet. So they head over to investigate the priest who was burned alive. And in the middle of investigating this, Sister Irene has a vision of the kid with the rosary.
The rosary, yeah.
Yeah.
Because if you saw the first movie, they keep her story that, she sees visions. We go a little bit into her backstory with her mom and all that good stuff.
Yeah, a little bit. And she confesses to Sister Deborah that she actually did know her mom. She remembers everything about her, but that her dad had her mother committed because she saw visions as well. So they try to check into a hotel. For some reason, it doesn't work. And then Sister Irene disobeys, like, the number 2 rule. Like, I would say your rule and my rule are number 1. First, anger trumps fear.
100% of the time.
100% of the time. And my rule is, if you feel something creepy, if it's modern times, you go out to the car and you wait 7 minutes. If you feel something creepy and it's like 1956, you just don't investigate that. That's not your business.
You just go to your room.
And you stay together. And and the number 2 rule is, don't separate by investigating.
Yeah. Don't separate from humanity.
She should know this by now. But Sister Irene thinks that she sees the little boy playing with his friends.
Which is not all that clear if at first it's the actual little boy.
Or a vision.
Because, she talks to the little boy and, she's playing with other little boys at night, kicking a random ball around, as you do in France in 1956.
Middle of the night.
And then safe. All the kids kind of like go around the corner and then they disappear. So I'm not sure if the vision was right from the beginning or after she turned the corner and now she's in a vision. It's not all that clear.
Yeah. And she decides she is like committed to chasing this little kid.
Yeah, this lady, she has no fear.
Right?
She fears nothing.
She turns corners.
Yeah, her job is to find this demon again and destroy it.
Right.
She is following the first rule, that is to always be angry. I feel like inside she's just angry because
You feel like she's just
yeah,
filled with rage.
yeah. She's not afraid. She's just this is what I'm doing. I'm turning this corner. Oh, it's dark. I'm gonna continue down this path.
Well, something that I loved about this movie was the cinematography. And this was demonstrated very vibrantly for the first time for me when she was chasing this little kid. And she's going down these really cool French little alleyways back and forth. And every single time she goes down one, they change the color of the atmosphere and they add a little bit more smoke or they add different things, which makes it really creepy and gives it a really cool atmosphere. But from a survival tip, if things are changing like that, just go home. Just go back to the hotel.
Go back to your hotel.
Yeah.
That's all you have to do.
So in the end, she encounters, which this is such a cool scene.
It was a really original
Yes.
way of showing the nun.
An abandoned magazine stand. So she encounters this magazine stand, and the magazine pages start to flip back and forth until it reveals pictures and pictures and pictures. And the nun is slowly formed through all of these
random pictures
until it's standing right in front of her. It is so creepy. I thought it was going to just jump out at any second.
Yeah. Which at one point it did, which was kind of like a little jump scare. But then she just falls on the ground and she's unconscious. They never explain why she got unconscious, but she's unconscious.
I mean, there's a lot of opportunity there. If something is slowly appearing to you like that, I would just rip all the magazines off the wall. Like, why didn't you just
throw some water at them?
Right?
Take the magazine stand and throw it on the ground.
I like that in the middle of watching this, you go, just pee on it.
Yeah, just pee on it. Yeah, because in my mind is, okay, you don't have water, you don't have anything to burn, you need it to be wet. Just pee on it. You know, pee a little on your hand and just flick it. You know, then they will all be wet. They can't flutter. They can't open up. And they're all filled with pee.
I didn't realize the extent at which you had really thought about this.
Yes, at the moment, that's what I thought. I was like, okay, she needs to make it wet. Okay, she has no water. Okay, she needs to burn it. Okay, she has nothing to burn. What you can produce wetness, you just pee. And anybody can pee on command. Unless you've just peed right that instant. And she did not, because she was on a train ride, and then she probably took a car, and then they haven't checked in the hotel. Right. So this lady, she hasn't peed.
She has to go.
She has to go. So if she had to go, all she had to do was just, go in the general direction of the magazines. Okay. Then they're wet, they can't flutter, the nun won't come after you. Solved. I just solved this movie.
Yes, you did. So when trying to defeat the nun, all you have to do is pee on it.
Yeah. And she's a nun, so it's holy pee.
It's holy pee.
It's holy pee. It's a holy golden shower.
Okay. You heard it here first, folks.
Yes. If a nun pees on you, it's a holy golden shower. Yes.
I love it. Okay, so she collapses. And Sister Deborah, who is gung-ho at protecting Sister Irene, this is a good friend.
Yeah, she is. Every time there's a problem, she jumps into action.
She jumps in.
Yeah. She's not really being a believer. She has no faith. She doesn't. She just
faith, no fear.
Yeah, no faith, no fear.
No faith, no fear. Fridays.
Yeah, she just came along to see if I just want to see if any of this is real. You know.
I felt like Sister Deborah was like, I have no faith. I have no fear. I'm all out of chewing gum.
Right.
I'm ready for action.
I'm ready for action. In the whole movie, in no part where they were in danger did she say, "Let us pray."
Right.
In no
and
way.
She also didn't flinch.
She didn't
not
flinch.
Even once.
She didn't grab a rosary. She was cosplaying as a nun. She was a costume nun.
It suits her character because she doesn't really believe until the very end. But so she finds Sister Irene, and I love what she does. She just screams for help.
Yeah.
Screams at the top of her lungs.
For a doctor.
For a doctor. Like
in the middle of the night.
In the middle of the night. She wakes up the whole neighborhood. She
in an alleyway.
Right. She does not give a frack.
Mm-hmm.
She is just going for it. So the next scene is we flash forward to how Maurice is doing.
Yes.
And Maurice is living a pretty sweet life. If he wasn't demonically possessed, he's slowly built himself a really nice life, a little family.
Yeah, he has kind of like a little girl that he likes, and then she has a daughter, and the daughter
really
likes him too.
Him,
and he's he works at a school.
He maintains the school. He's like a handyman. But he also grows little tomatoes.
The tomatoes and flowers in the garden in the school.
It's a sweet life, but then of course he's possessed. It's a different movie than that.
This is not that movie.
This is not that movie. This is the movie where sometimes he blacks out a little bit. There are awful, weird clicking noises as though his bones are breaking.
Right.
And he murders people.
Yeah. This is what it wasn't all that clear to me in the movie. Again, there's like the rules. The rules aren't all that clear.
Okay.
So he blacks out, and then the nun comes out of his body to murder, maim, and kill people?
I think both.
But then when he comes to, the nun goes back into his body.
So it's clear later on that he doesn't know that he's possessed, and he's already at least murdered a few people.
Yes.
So
like that little girl that it's never
mentioned again.
It's just
this delivery girl.
It's a little girl that just delivers food, just doing her job, and she goes into his house to deliver food.
Yeah.
And then the nun just murders her. And not only, it looks like she eats her because blood starts gushing.
There's a lot of blood. And I'm a little bit concerned with Maurice's mental health that, like, what happens to all these bodies?
Right? The nun just kill the kid and then decide, okay, let's clean up.
The nun is extremely sanitary.
Yes, right? She just decides, okay, let's clean the body, let's mop a little bit, let's take a broom, okay, let's discard the body.
Right. Let's sanitize.
Let's sanitize everything, which Maurice, when he comes to, he doesn't even realize that the nun killed a child in his house.
It doesn't smell of cleaner.
Right.
Somehow she disposes of the cart that the lady brought into his house.
Right? Yeah.
Like
and all the mess that she made trying to run away, where she fumbles and throws a lot of stuff on the ground, so she picks that up too. Makes no sense.
And it's 1956, and he's left a trail of bodies across France. You would think he would kind of pick up on.
You would think the police would do their job.
Right?
Like this little girl, a lot of other little kids saw this little girl, and they were teasing her when she was going to deliver the food. They saw her knock. They even teased her when she was in the house delivering the food from a window. So they know that this is the last place where
someone saw her.
That this kid has been seen alive.
Yeah.
It takes like 10 minutes of detective work she was in this house. Just a lone man lives in this house. Maybe he should be prime suspect.
Yeah. And the other thing I think is interesting is because he's left a trail of bodies, all the police would have to do is ask, were there any maintenance men that were here or any temporary workers that have now left? Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, Maurice Dubois,
Yeah.
He was there and then he left. And then the next place, was there anybody? Oh, Maurice Dubois.
Yeah. That's how Irene found him.
Yeah.
He went to talk to, so the little boy gave the other lady the rosary of the priest that was burnt.
Yes. So the little boy goes to Sister Deborah and gives her the rosary. Mm-hmm. They find a symbol on the rosary and they realize they've kind of seen it somewhere before. And when you become famous, you get a guy.
Yes.
You get guys.
You get guys because she had a guy.
Sister Irene, after she collapses, she comes to a doctor's session. She's like, oh, I got a guy in the Catholic archives.
Right? Because when she fainted.
Yes.
So when she fainted, she had a vision about this saint that they took this saint's eyes out because she couldn't get burnt, something like that.
So Saint Lucy was someone that they tried to burn at the stake,
Okay.
and she didn't burn. So, and she was like the patron saint of blindness, I think. So they removed her eyes. I think she also had visions. So she goes to her guy in the Catholic archives. Really cool scene. So this is where the movie really takes off for me, because this is where it starts to become a very like investigation heavy adventure horror.
Yeah, it's like Carmen Sandiego.
Right.
Where in the world is the nun?
This is, I mean, Father Burke really did a good job of investigating with the books, even though he did nothing with that information.
He did nothing. Yeah, he told no one. He did nothing.
No one. He did nothing.
The only people that saw it was us.
It was us. However, Sister Irene and Sister Deborah, they take that knowledge and they run with it.
Yeah.
So
they go to their guy, and they talk to him. Listen, what is this? Oh, yeah. So this is where they find out that the nun.
The symbol is a crest. It's a family crest.
It's a family crest.
Yes.
That ties all these people to
Saint Lucy. So all of the people that the nun has been killing has been the descendants of Saint Lucy. And they realize that what she's after, what the nun is after, what this demon is after, is Lucy's eyes, which was really strange to me, but apparently her eyes were preserved. And
in a little cool box.
In a very pretty little metal box.
Made out of metal, not glass.
Right? Metal, which is much better than the blood of Christ made in glass. Not good. And the last known place for this box with the eyes, what used to be a nunnery, and then it was a winery, and now it's a school.
Which is the school that
Maurice works at.
Yes, it is.
So we have this flash of history where Sister Irene is saying goodbye to Maurice, and she gives him tomato seeds for his future farming adventures.
Yeah, because that's following from the first movie where he says, I think I'm going to plant tomatoes because my grandfather, I think, or my father was
a farmer.
Yeah, tomato farmer.
Give that a try. So,
and also interesting, in this scene, you can still tell that Maurice, he is trying to get some jiggy with it. He is trying. He has his eyes on the nun hoo-ha still. Even after she's a nun. Even after all that, he's like, we're tied for life, because I saved your life. Our souls are intertwined.
He cannot stop. He cannot stop with her. So he moves to this school, and that's when Irene, once she has all these flashes, she realizes, she's like, it's Maurice. She knows it's Maurice, and that's where the demon lives. So she heads over to this school, and we have a lot of information given to us about Maurice. He's had that romance with that lady, and weird things have started to happen. A lot of people are making fun, in particular 3 little girls are making fun of his Squeeze's daughter. Her name is Claire. In one scene, these 3 horrible little wretched children.
Yeah, which I hope these children get their
comeuppance.
Yes, I hope either they get possessed, their little throats get slit or something. Something needs to happen to these kids.
Yeah,
and it does, but we'll get into that.
Yeah, we'll get into that. So they're harassing Claire. They convince her to go into this old chapel where during the war there was a shelling, and the headmistress of the school, her son, who was also an altar boy, he was killed. So that church has been totally tied off. That chapel has totally been tied off using useless metal chains.
Yes.
Totally useless.
That are too loose.
They're way too loose, so there's a gap about this wide.
Anybody could go in.
For anyone to go in whenever they please. It's just a visual deterrent.
You're right. Yeah, that's all it is.
That's all it is. So they convince her to go into this chapel, and they place her in front of a stained glass window of a cute little
a goat that is laughing.
little jumping goat.
A goat that you can see just ate the best hay.
Oh.
They gave this goat some peanut hay,
Right?
some nice alfalfa hay, a little bit of milk, a little bowl of milk. So it's really happy. A really happy goat.
Really happy.
And then they're selling this goat like, this goat is the devil.
devil.
You need to just keep your eyes on the devil or the devil will catch you.
And I have to say, if you don't believe that goats are cute, Exhibit A.
What is the exhibit?
A little video of a little goat.
Okay.
So you can see how cute goats are. They're very cute. So she's convinced to stand in front of the statue, and she's told at a certain point of light, when light is drawn through the stained glass window, a red beam will appear, and if you take your eyes off of it, the devil will catch you.
Mm-hmm.
And
these nasty little girls, they just leave her there, and then they just leave, and they lock her.
Yeah.
They lock her in this room. And when they lock her in the room, you can see the nun is coming after her.
Yeah. And it's awful. Like, when they lock her in, the statue starts to come forward. It's really creepy. And then Maurice is on the other side trying to help her. So he pulls her out. And their relationship is really sweet. He's very much sort of an older brother and a father figure to her. And I really like that.
And these nasty little girls, they tease her saying, this is your boyfriend. This is your boyfriend.
Cool.
Which is, again, a little bit like, okay, these girls think this guy's a pedophile because this is a child. And he's like, what, a 38-year-old man?
Yeah. It's really creepy. The whole thing is creepy from the little girls. So there's a few different instances where the nun appears, and they're actually genuinely frightening, I think. The woman who runs the school, her son was killed, and those same wretched 3 little girls have been releasing cockroaches into her bedroom.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, so in the beginning scene, they were in the winery, and they caught a bunch of cockroaches, and they released them into her bedroom, and she got freaked out, and they were so proud of themselves. And then she goes to Maurice, and she's like, there's cockroaches in my room yet again. I don't understand it.
Okay.
So she's been haunted by visions of sort of her son. She's clearly really sad about it. So she goes into the chapel one night when she hears a bunch of stuff. And this is another survival tip, guys. Like, if you hear things happening in old, creaky, ancient houses,
yes,
just ignore it.
Yeah, that's what old houses, that's what they be doing.
Right?
You know, there's sounds, probably have cast iron pipes at this point. Is the 50s, It's old wood, it crackles when temperature changes.
Right?
Just
all
stay asleep.
Stuff. Just that's not your business.
Yeah. Don't go investigating.
Don't go investigating. This lady,
wait until it's daylight.
Yes. Wait until it's daylight. Call a repair person. Ask several people to come with you. If there's really someone in your house, realistically, it's likely that they don't want to kill you. They want to take stuff.
Yeah.
So anyway, so she goes and investigates. She heads into the chapel, and it's so creepy. It's so creepy. We see her dead son, and I mean, they shoot it beautifully, where this little kid just appears.
Yeah, it appears out of nowhere. But how she got to the chapel is when she's investigating the noise, Maurice is right in front of the door.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, Maurice is right in front of the door. And hitting his
door.
Hitting his head
slowly
against the door slowly. And this lady's brave because she knows it's Maurice, and she just, Maurice, what are you doing? And then he comes to and it's like, oh, okay, I don't know what I'm doing. And she's like, listen,
go to your room.
Go to your room. Go sleep. It's like, okay. And when she's gonna leave, she hears something like,
she hears laughter.
No, she hears a child say, "Mama," like super clear.
I didn't hear that. That's so sad.
Yeah, and that's why she just opens the lock and opens the door and just investigates a child that called for mama.
Yeah, and so she goes in there. She sees her son several times. It's really scary. And then she sees him a final time with the nun
With the nun kind of like holding
behind
his little
him.
shoulders.
Like she's controlling him, and he takes the, I don't know what it's called in Catholicism.
Yeah, if anybody knows what
Anybody
it's
knows,
called,
please let us know.
let us know. Send us an email,
It's
write a comment down below, whatever.
It's a metal thing.
It's the metal
It's
thing
like
that
an
they
incense.
yeah, the metal thing that they just
It has
wave around and
wave
incense
around
go
slowly.
around. So he takes that thing and he just
And
whacks her.
He whacks her over and
Yeah,
over.
like whack, whack, and she's just taking it.
He murders her.
Yeah, and then she falls and a giant piece of metal falls on her face and she's dead. She's done.
Yeah, yeah. So the next day she's discovered by the teacher that Maurice likes, and she's kaput.
Yeah, she's just carted away.
Meanwhile, Sister Irene is on her way there, but we have one final scene with Maurice where he's at night, he's in his apartment with the girl that he likes and her daughter Claire, and they're just dancing. They're just having a great time.
Having a nice, good time. Yeah.
Yeah. Really nice. There is one thing that happens in this scene that is absolutely horrifying, and that is he tries to cut cilantro with a knife that's basically a butter knife, where he's like,
he's going to town
to try to cut this cilantro, and I'm like,
looks like they didn't have good.
Do you
knife sharpeners?
Have knives? Like, were you really this afraid that your actor was going to cut themselves?
That you just gave him
you're like, cut it, and
just go to town on this cilantro.
Imagine the director's like, no, keep cutting.
Keep cutting. Okay, you go forward and back. Forward and back. It will cut eventually.
We need the shot. So, like, it's so funny. I'm like, that's not how you chop things. But they're dancing. It's really cute. They're kind of bonding and getting to know each other.
And while they're dancing, there's a scene while they're dancing. So they have a picture of a kind of like guy in the background. We're like, oh, is that the nun? Oh, no, that's just a random guy.
So you noticed this. So I noticed him at first. And at first I was like, oh, it could be the nun. But then I was like, no.
No, because they zoom in on it. And it's just a guy, a bald guy.
A guy.
Just looking. But from afar, it could be because he has a white suit and a black with a white shirt. Oh, yes, it's like the nun.
Maybe a little. And as they proceed with this really sweet scene that's a totally different movie than a horror movie.
Yes.
The picture becomes
because he gets the he goes into a trance.
Oh, that's right.
He kind of like falls, goes into a trance, and when he goes into a trance, so far it means that the nun is, out there walking.
She's on her way, and everybody's like, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" And she's like, "No." And then the nun comes out of that picture.
But here's where they changed the rules on us, because up to this point, he goes into a trance. The nun does her thing, whatever she does, when she's out and about, killing people, and scaring people, doing all that stuff. But in this scene, he comes to, and he sees the picture of the nun. And then he realizes, oh, she's here. And then she bursts from the picture and kind of like, and he comes to, and he's aware. But the nun is still out while he's aware. So they changed the rules here.
They did change the rules. I wonder if the nun has an interesting relationship with pictures.
Yeah.
Or statues or...
Mirrors?
Mirrors, it could be. It could be. So he starts to have this episode. We see the nun, but then he comes back.
Yeah.
And he goes, oh my God. And he thinks he has seen the nun.
Yes.
Not knowing that it's inside of him. And he's like, we got to get out of here. So it's so cute. He grabs both of their hands like he's going to save them.
Yeah, and he runs. He does the correct thing. If you want to survive, do what Maurice is good at surviving.
Yes. Good job, Maurice Dubois.
He grabs them and runs. And while they're running, they're like, oh my God, we got to get out of here. There's a nun after us. Oh my God.
Yeah.
So they're going to run through a door. They're going to leave the school. But then
Sister Irene and
Deborah, they just Sister Deborah too, but she doesn't believe in none of that. They walk into the room and they encounter each other,
Right?
And then he's like, "Oh my God, Sister Irene, listen, we need to go. We need
The
to
nun
go."
is back. She's back. And she's like, get away from them. It's in you.
It's in you. You're the nun. You're the person. You're the one.
You're the demon.
And then he realizes it, and then the nun takes over.
Immediately takes over.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it is an epic just fight.
Yeah.
Then
from this point on,
your rule
it's a fight.
Totally applies.
Yeah. Now everybody's mad. Everybody's mad. Now you got a fight.
Nun's mad. Irene is mad. Deborah's mad. Maurice is mad. It is intense.
Yes.
But Maurice, obviously, he has a goal, because the nun wants those eyes. So, and he knows on some level they're in the chapel. So he starts heading towards the chapel. Irene starts chasing after him. And Deborah's like, what do you want me to do? And she's like, don't let him get away.
So what does she do? She runs at him and just grabs him.
She just tackles him.
Yeah.
Man,
she just jumps at it like she doesn't think about it. She's like, oh, don't let him get away. Don't let him get away. I won't let him get away. She just runs at him and jumps on him and just grabs onto him.
Right.
And then he just plop on the floor.
Right. I mean, she's no match for his strength. But the moment before she jumped on him, I was thinking it would be so cool if when Irene said, just don't let him get away, if Sister Deborah was like, cool, I'm just going to go jump on him. And I was like, they're never going to do that.
Right.
But they did.
They did. And then, they're fighting. They're doing all this stuff. He's fighting with Irene. And then she does what nobody expects a person to do. She grabs a piece of wood and she just socks him in the face.
Right.
And that's it.
Across the back of the head just to knock him out.
Yeah.
So that they can deal with the situation like normal
Maurice
people.
was concussed.
Yes.
Yes.
You
that
even
was
said
a concussion.
That. As we were watching the movie, he just goes, he's concussed.
Yeah, he is concussed. Yes. So then they tie him up and then they start, investigating to find the eyes.
And when they first tied him up, I said, he's going to get loose. There's no way he's not going to get loose. And then
with a lot of ropes and chains. They went overboard.
So then I saw how many ropes and chains they used, and I'm like, all right, he's fine.
Looks pretty safe.
Yeah, it's pretty secure. Right? And they do that right. I mean, he gets loose.
Yeah, he gets loose.
Gets loose.
But before he gets loose, they go into, they go into a chapel. They start looking for the eyes. And then they realize that then the lady says, oh, no, is this little window of the goat, if the sun hits it.
Claire tells them about the goat and the window. It's nighttime, so Sister Deborah goes around the stained glass window and shines a light on it, and it reveals a laser. The Nun movies really like these lasers.
Yes.
And like the lights leading to things. It's very straightforward, so it works. It feels like it's secure, even though it's not.
Yeah.
And so she shines the light, and it leads into like another dig session where they have to take up some tile, and then they got to keep digging and digging and digging and digging.
But then, while this is happening, the little girl looks at the
goat,
at the little goat in the
stained
glass, and the goat
is gone.
Is gone. It's not there anymore. I'm like, oh, okay. And all this time, I was thinking, okay, we're gonna get to see a little goat.
So I've got to tell you, because we have goats.
Mm-hmm.
This was the best moment of our horror movie career.
Yeah.
We were like, yes, there's gonna be a little goat.
We get to see little goat.
We love goats.
I hope it's like Black Phillip, a nice little goat, a cute little goat that is just a goat. Is no demon. It's just a goat that looks into the camera and goes like, bah.
Right? It would be so cute. And of course, I knew that it would be like a huge, monstrous goat.
I actually thought it was just gonna be a goat.
No way, really?
Yeah, just a normal goat. Maybe, an epic-looking black goat, like the one they used in The Witch.
You're adorable.
Like that one.
I thought it was going to be a big goat creature because I don't know how they would make a goat, like a regular goat, fierce without building it up more.
Mm.
Like, they didn't do anything like the goat is the symbol of blah, blah, blue and the goat. Yeah. They just had like one or two scenes. Mm. But that I actually would have preferred your thing more. So then we fast forward to the Mean Girls and them sleeping.
And then they hear a knocking on the roof are on the other floor.
So this made no sense to me, but I guess maybe can you tell us if you were living in a 2-story building, right? A house or an apartment, would you, as the viewer, as the listener, go investigate a noise you heard on that second floor at night?
No, that is the neighbors. They're doing their stuff. I mean, if I'm trying to sleep, you just take a broom and you bump on the roof to let them know that they should be quiet.
Well, right.
But this is if you're living, in a condo or something like that.
Yeah, that's true. But let's say that you're living in a 2-story house.
Okay.
I mean, would you investigate on your second floor?
I mean, not if I'm in bed in the room sleeping. I would go. Okay, is the room locked? It is. I am good.
So that would be my stance as well. However, most people, I think, would disagree with you. I don't know. You guys tell me if you're right. But most people, I think, would investigate, which is the wrong move, in my opinion. I think that you should never investigate, even if you own that second floor, especially if you don't own that second floor. That's not your business.
Yeah.
For
just
real.
Stay in your roof. If you have a weapon, just stay with the weapon looking right at the door.
Yeah.
And of course, if you live with other people, make sure that they're accounted for.
Yes, they're all. And if all else fails, you've got a cell phone.
Yes, you can send text messages. You can, there's any type of messenger, WhatsApp, Telegram.
I like that you're listing messenger.
Yes, Discord. You can use all of them.
So anyway, these little girls hear something, and one of them immediately goes, "You should go investigate."
Right? The really mean one wakes up the other not so mean one, but still mean one, and pushes her to listen. Go investigate.
Go investigate, minion.
You're right. And the other one's like, no. She's like, go investigate.
She even does the little hand motion.
Yeah.
So the other girl goes up and investigates, and of course finds a demon goat.
Well, before that, she finds, because the other sister...
Right, Sister Deborah.
Sister Deborah also heard the steps. And so she was kind of like looking around.
Right. She sees the little girl.
And the little girl's like, I think there's something on the second floor.
Then they see the demon goat, and Sister Deborah immediately turns into an action hero.
Yeah, she is in the wrong movie. She is an action hero star.
Yeah.
She should co-star with John Wick. She should be with Keanu Reeves co-starring in a John Wick movie, just running and jumping on people and kicking ass and taking names.
I would love to see her as Constantine's companion.
Oh, that'd be cool.
That would be so cool. They are going to make another
Constantine.
Constantine. We should send in our messages and say, Sister Deborah
needs to be in this film.
Right?
This universe needs to combine. Yeah.
Can you imagine Constantine in the world of The Conjuring?
Right. Constantine would be, I have a guy, and then he goes to the Warrens.
Oh my God! Epic! I love that so much.
And that would be his guy.
Right. Yeah. Constantine, the Warrens, and Sister Deborah.
And then he just goes into her little room. Listen, I need this doll. I need this thing. And he's like, listen, why do you need these? They're demons. They're vessels. I need the vessels.
Right? He's like, I gotta conjure some people because I need some conversation.
Yes. That's how it would go.
It would go that. Oh,
I would watch that movie.
I
would watch the hell out of that movie.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah.
So Sister Deborah takes charge. She gathers all of these children together, and
but we didn't talk about what they see. So the goat, it is not a normal goat.
No.
It is kind of like a man-beast goat.
Yes. So it's like a fawn. If you remember, what was that movie, Pan's Labyrinth?
Yes.
It was very much like Pan's Labyrinth creature, only fully goatified.
Yeah, a little more, a more animal version of the ones in that show, the fairy show that we watched with the singer. Was it a singer?
The fairy show with the singer.
Yeah.
I'm missing it in my brain. Give me more hints.
So
I bet you guys have got it.
There was these fairies, and the fairies they didn't want them to be with the humans, and they put them in a little place, and the fairies.
Are you talking about the Shakespearean play?
No, that show in Amazon that it was meant to be 5 seasons, but there were 3.
Yes, that one's Carnival Row.
Carnival Row. It looks like the ones on Carnival Row, but a little bit more beastly.
Yes, it does. Very similar to that. And I was not disappointed with this creature. I definitely wanted to befriend it and give it hay and cookies.
Can you imagine? Just this beast, and you just throw hay at it, and it just starts munching, right? Anyway, he was
Yeah,
fast,
he was fast.
but she was faster.
Yes, she was. She gathered those kids up quick. She formed a plan.
Right?
She was like, let's hide from it.
Yeah, let's get into the door. Now get the wood. Now block the door,
Right.
block the wood. Now let's go hide. And in none of these scenarios did she ever go, "Come on, children, we need to pray." No.
Right? Not
She
a
never
single
prayed.
one.
She never acknowledged she's a nun. She could have been wearing some shirts and jeans for all we know, and
Yeah.
it would have.
She's just a regular lady.
Yeah, just a regular lady cosplaying as a nun.
So then the mean girl who was lured away to the second floor, they're hiding in this little alcove.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a vent. And they're being extremely quiet, opening the vent one little piece at a time. And she's like, okay, we're going to escape through here. And it's into the headmistress's old room that she used to live in. And she pokes half of her body through this vent. And she sees a bunch of cockroaches. And to your left, a slow pan up of the headmistress who is dead.
With cockroaches kind of like walking all over her.
Cockroaches. And I was like, oh my God. So she crawls back and you think she's kind of safe.
Yeah, and she's talking to her. What did you see? And she said, well, it's the headmistress. She's right there.
And then she reaches in and she grabs her.
She grabs her and starts screaming, and cockroaches start coming out of her mouth, which is pretty gross.
Oh, it's awful.
Yeah. Oh, but before that, when they were on the door, what I really liked is that the goat demon just stabbed her.
That didn't happen yet.
Oh, that hasn't happened? I thought it happened first.
No. So after that, that's when they go into that room.
Okay.
And then they put the door over it, and the goat demon stabs the really meanest little girl in the shoulder. And you know she's not gonna die. She's not gonna die.
Because it was kind of like on the right part of the shoulder.
Yeah.
She probably had some tissue damage and probably a bone cracked or something. Yeah. But it felt really good. I felt, ha ha, that's what you get. That's what you get. You don't die, but you get a goat impale you. That's what you get.
So, while all this is happening, Sister Irene is trying to save everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So the teacher lady that Maurice was in love with has taken all the children away from Sister Deborah now and is trying to lead them into safety. Mm-hmm. She apparently abandons these kids to just go out into the street and find your own safety.
Right, because we never see them again.
We never see them again.
Yeah. You just, good luck to you. You know, you're safe. You're out of here. Good luck. Good riddance. I don't care.
My daughter Claire. I mean, that's what I would do. Yeah. I'm sorry. I would be like, listen, kids, I'm going to put you in safety, and then I'm going back for my kid.
Yeah.
So she goes to find Claire, and Claire has sort of found herself with Irene in this wine room, mm-hmm. and Maurice. So they're trying to fight, and I'm going to let you take the fight scene because I don't remember it all that well.
Well,
the beginning of it.
So before this, the
tower. Yes,
but before this, how they get into the tower is because the little girl, when they were fighting, when the goat left the glass, Maurice got there and they were fighting and he knocked them silly, and then the girl got a hold of the
eyes,
the little box with the eyes, and she ran.
Right.
And then she ran into the
tower.
The tower, the bell tower, and she hid in the bell tower. And Maurice was looking for her, and she hid in a little spot that we see earlier in the movie where she goes when she's sad or she wants to be alone. So she goes to this spot. So she's hiding in this spot, and all of a sudden, for no reason that we can gather, the box in itself starts glowing from the inside. So these eyes, they glow.
Right. They're clearly very powerful. So he goes to try and take the eyes, and as he's trying to get the eyes, power starts to kind of emit from them, and the bell from the bell tower just falls. And the entire tower starts to fall apart.
Yeah.
It's pretty intense. At one point, they're on this rickety, like, wooden platform. It's like an action movie.
Yes.
Where she's gonna fall and he's gonna fall, and then he grows to grab her, and then he falls.
And then finally, the lady, comes up.
Right.
She still has the eyes.
So she still has the eyes, and then she's reunited with everybody else, and then they're in the wine cellar.
And then they're in the wine cellar.
Who knows how Maurice survived, but he did.
Yeah, the power of the devil.
Right, demon logic.
Demon power and demon logic.
Right.
Which, to the point that we were talking in our other video, so if you slit your throat, and then you let the demon inhabit you, you get demon powers and you won't die.
That's true. I mean, it must be true. If he fell like 15 stories in a tower and he didn't die because the
with
demon
all that wood and all those pieces of rubble that can pierce skin, that can break bones, and he survived, it's demon power.
I'm trying to think about a scenario where it would be beneficial to have demon power and also the drawbacks of having a demon possession. And I think the only time it would be really great is in a post-apocalyptic scenario where everybody's pretty much dead anyway. So you can't really injure other people.
Yeah. Or a demon-powered superhero. Where,
don't we have those?
Fight crime during the day, and at night the demon comes out and just kill people.
Yeah, but people is a broad term. You don't want to just kill people randomly.
Yeah.
Because demons don't care.
Yeah, they don't care.
Yeah.
They just want to, I don't know, inhabit the earth or get more power. This one, she wanted the eyes just to be powerful, to be an angel again. That wasn't all that clear.
Yeah, I think that she simply wanted to be... So when we got the explanation, it was said that she was an angel. The demon was an angel that had been cast down by God. It wasn't an angel anymore. And that what she wanted was a semblance of what she used to be, which is really sad. Yeah. And that's why she wanted the eyes. So, so we get into the winery, and this demon is...
Yeah, and there's a fight. So, Irene, she has... so the little girl gave Irene the little eyes in the black box, in the metal box.
Yes.
Right? And then Maurice shows up, and he's like, I'm demon, I'm going to do my demon stuff, and, slap you around. And then she goes, demon, and shows him the box. And then the box starts shining, and it kind of like, it's going to defeat the demon, and he stops.
We're talking about Irene. The sister Irene is in mortal combat with Maurice, who is the nun. And when she does this, if you think she's killing Maurice.
Yeah, and he's like, it's hurt, she's killing me.
She's killing me.
So she kind of like stops doing what she's doing, which, how can she control it? I don't understand it.
Well, I think that she did do everything the eyes could do as much as she could, but then the demon still isn't expelled for some reason.
Well, I think she stopped.
Well, maybe
what I understood is that she stopped, so he can take a breather, a little bit of water, and continue
and
on,
get ready for the fight again.
Ready for the next. But then, so she does. So this is what you should not do. If you have a powerful relic, the eyes of a saint, in a little box, and you think that you're fighting against a demon. Don't take that box and then just put it on the demon's chest.
Right? For him to just snatch it away.
Yeah. What did he do?
He snatched it
away. He just took it. And then he's a tall guy compared to them.
Right.
So what he did was just raise his hand. And they're like, we can't reach. And then the nun got the power.
That was really funny.
Yeah.
That was really funny. So she got the power. It went into her eyes.
Yeah, and then for some reason, that's like, this is why her eyes glow. Because she has, the eyes of a saint.
She has the eyes of Saint Lucy.
Yes, and now Saint Lucy's eyes glowed for some reason.
So
the nun's eyes glow now.
Yes. So then she starts to defeat everybody left and right like gangbusters.
Now this movie turns into an anime show. A real life anime show, because there's people flying around. She takes Irene, and then Irene, she lights her on fire.
Well, first she lifts her off the ground. She puts her in this big pose.
Yeah.
And she starts to light her on fire.
And she's just screaming. And then she has flashbacks of her mom.
She has a flash of her mom, and she realizes, I am the descendant of Saint Lucy.
Ging, ging.
Ging, ging, ging. Sorry, booby. It's okay. And and then
the nun says, "Oh shit, I can't burn her," so she just lets her drop to the
flings
ground.
her away.
Yeah.
So because she realizes that she's a descendant of Saint Lucy, she also realizes that there's hope.
Yes.
And Maurice gets up. He's still being controlled by the nun, and the nun.
But meanwhile, the nun is just flying, looking
she's
with
flying around.
her nasty.
She brings forth a bunch of boards from the ground and creates kind of like a cage.
Yeah, like Full Metal Alchemist. Now she controls the ground.
It's really odd.
And then the little girl was running, and then you see the faceless nuns from the first movie. Yeah. For some reason. Like, oh, so she brought a couple of her friends with her?
See, I sort of like that. This is like the Nun elevated, like the Nun 2.0.
Yeah, because where, of the eyes, I'm guessing she has new powers.
Yeah, I think she has new sort of powers where she can now stretch herself even thinner and like make herself even more. At least it didn't feel unnatural to me. But I can see how it might. So Sister Irene and Sister Deborah are separated from the little girl, and Maurice is about to stab her. So the nun has also destroyed everything. So there's wine everywhere. There's wine flowing everywhere. Remember, the body and blood of Christ.
Yeah, because we got to go back a little bit to talk about that scene.
Yes, we do.
The train.
So there's a scene on the train. They're talking about their histories. Sister Deborah's talking about all of her stuff, and Sister Irene starts talking about the body and the blood of Christ that you receive at communion. That the reason why wine is the blood of Christ is because you believe. Yes. You believe it is, and it is because you believe. And Sister Deborah's like, well, I haven't experienced that yet.
Yeah.
So
and that wafer between us, that wafer tastes pretty good. I do remember that when I went up, and you got that little wafer, it was a pretty tasty wafer from what I remember as a kid.
Now, if you were Catholic, do you think you would have a better chance of defeating demons?
I mean, if you're really into it and then you go into the lore, then I guess you learn all the myths and all the rules. This is a thing. You need to have rules.
Well, remember in Conjuring 1, the whole reason why they couldn't get the Vatican to do an intervention at first or an exorcism at first is because the family wasn't Catholic. So on some level, I think it does give you more resources. So anyway, fast forwarding to this giant scene.
Yeah, so in the train, I kind of like derailed the conversation. So she says, the wine turns in the blood of Christ because of the faith and all that stuff, and then the little wafer turns into the body of Christ because of the faith that they have in the thing.
So in this moment, they're trapped by these boards. She grabs Sister Deborah's hand and she says, "We believe."
Well, she says, "Pray with me."
Pray with me. And they put their hands on the wine.
And this scene was really interesting because there's a lot of noise, the explosions, wine, and the wood. The nun is just going like, "Oh, I'm gonna kill everybody." And then the Sister Deborah, when she touches her hand, it all goes silent.
On the wine.
So, yeah, that was.
It all goes silent.
And they start doing their turning wine into
wine into the blood of
prayer.
Christ.
Yeah.
Which is really cool because what defeats this demon?
Yeah,
the blood of Christ.
Yeah, turning it back around.
Yes. So really, that vial was no more useful than a bottle of wine.
Yeah, that is true. I still think that vial was more powerful, but because in the other movie she just spat a little bit. In this one, it was just gallons and gallons of wine, just all the wine, not some of the wine, all the wine.
Because it used to be a winery, so literally it's like floor to ceiling, 30-foot high ceilings of wine.
Yeah,
that is exploding out.
Probably like 100-gallon barrels of wine.
It is so much.
All of a sudden, after they pray, they decide to explode.
Yeah. So the other thing that I want to mention here, because of course this is what defeats the nun.
Yeah, she starts burning.
Burning. So what this means is, if you're a believer and you can get some blessed wine and you drink it, you've got like Christ's blood in you. So you're like more immune to demons.
Until you pee?
Until you pee. So that would mean that, like, for a time, if you're drunk off a holy wine, wouldn't you be like kind of immune to demons a little bit?
Yeah, but you'd be drunk.
Yeah, but drunken style is a fighting technique.
It's no fighting technique. That's like ninjutsu. That is no fighting technique.
I
Might
don't
as well
know.
say you're gonna defeat him with your invisible ki energy and go like, and then they just fall down or
Well,
something.
what are we talking about anyway in the whole show?
Yeah, well, yeah.
I mean, I would say, if you can, bring a bottle of holy wine with you wherever you go.
Yes.
If nothing else, if
But
it's a nice gift for a guest.
But what gives the wine its power is the belief.
Well, then
So
you gotta...
what would happen if it's a non-believer like me? Then I'm shit out of luck.
No, listen. It's the belief of the person from the person who's blessed it.
Oh, okay. I think
right? Or is that...
I think that's like
hooey?
That's like the poopo loophole.
Okay.
It's iffy at best.
It is iffy at best. But I would say relying on any sort of relic to save you is iffy at best.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I mean, if we're going to get real technical with it, it could possibly be that holy wine in the hands of a believer could help you out.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So the demon is defeated. The wine splatters all over her. Maurice is cured. For all we know, which is really weird to me.
Yeah,
because later he gets exorcised.
Yeah, because this is what this movie, they kind of like wrote themselves into a corner here.
They did.
They wrote themselves into a corner from the first movie because they wanted to tie it to the first movie. So in the first movie, and then in the first Nun movie, they show that the ones that exorcise the demon from Maurice are the
Ed
Warrens.
and Lorraine Warren.
Yeah, are the Warrens. So in this scene, when he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm good now," and he's happy with his little girlfriend and her daughter, and he just wait a minute, he still has a demon
inside of him.
And this is 1956, and the Warren thing takes place in what, 60 something?
Yeah, 60 something. I can't remember.
So it's a couple of years where. Does he keep murdering people?
I don't know.
Is it the same demon?
My hope is that they'll revisit that. That's really my hope.
Is it a new Conjuring coming up?
Yes, it is. A new Conjuring is coming up. I'm hoping that the new Conjuring is going to cover some of this, but I don't know. The Conjuring movies that are like actually titled The Conjuring don't seem to feed into the other lore much. It's just more of Ed and Lorraine.
Yeah, and they sprinkle a little bit here and there.
Yeah. But
I feel that in this movie, most everybody did things right to survive.
Yeah. In all the Conjuring movies they do.
The little boy, he went,
went to an adult.
He went to and the little boy lived. He went to the adult. The adult died, but the little boy lived. She had a mission. Her mission. She was on that mission. She wasn't.
Yeah.
She wasn't scared. She wasn't afraid.
Friend.
She wasn't screaming like in the first. In this one, she was like, "Okay, this is what it is. I have power. I'm gonna destroy." She brought her lady friend. Even though her lady friend was a nun, she wasn't really a believer. So she was like.
I think she is now.
Yeah, I mean, listen. If I am in a room, right? And there is a demon nun floating in front of me, right? Taking and reconstituting the matter of the floor with her nun power alchemy. And then she took this other nun flying in the air, and then it burst into flames. I am going to believe.
I know.
I'm going to say, hallelujah. Yes, my Lord, take me. Oh, I will pray for you every day.
You're going to become a priest.
I am going to be celibate. I'm going to become a castrati and sing with the best of them. I am going to be a believer. If I'm in that situation, of course. I mean, who wouldn't be a believer right there?
Right? Well, I think that everybody survived this one, really.
Yeah, everybody did.
Did you survive? Would you have survived?
I don't know.
I think that our non-belief might have deterred us.
Yeah, it might have deterred us.
To a large extent.
To a lot of things.
We're very practical.
Yeah.
So, I I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Would you have
Would
survived?
you have survived?
Yeah.
Can you
Leave a comment down below, or
please explain it to us how you would have, because this one's a little confusing for me. It's there's a lot of ways to survive, but a lot of them involve faith, and I don't really know how to square that.
Well, faith and religion are two different things.
Yes, they are.
You can have faith and not be religious.
I have a lot of faith, but I am not religious. But this system of demonology seems to rely heavily on the system of religion. And
Yeah.
maybe I'm wrong, but I haven't seen a lot of horror movies about the system of, say, like paganism. Unless paganism is being used on like how they summon a demon, which it seems like a cop-out to me.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's like got to be a system, a natural system about how demons and the light work and all this, and I don't know what that is yet.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we'll figure it out.
Yeah. Maybe more movies.
More movies.
The more we'll figure it out.
Yeah. So, thank you so much for joining us. Did you survive with us? Tell us your tips and tricks in the comments below. If you have movie suggestions of things we should watch next, please let us know.
Also, remember to like this video.
And remember, be vigilant, be brave, and be the last one standing.
Always.